Hello and welcome to a beautiful Monday on Crypto. Oh my God, we've got a lot of news. I'm just going to hop right in. Let's go. Bam. So I missed some streams last week because I've been dicking around with all of this Pump.fun streaming activity. And basically what's going on here is that if you create a token on Pump.fun, you have this swanky little start live stream button. And this actually opens up a direct live stream. Now the kicker is if you're streaming and people trade your coin, you get a large percentage. I think it's about 20% of all the trading fees associated with your asset. Now I do think this is a little scary. It's going to incentivize people to go out there and get more extreme with their streams. We actually saw this with the first iteration of the pump streams where people got really gnarly really fast. Of course, they have moderation content, but I've been in here just kind of streaming all of my episodes one after another, and that's what I did a lot of last week. Now, has it gotten me anywhere? No, not really. I had this little pump and dump here, and I'm going to keep going with it, and maybe over time I'll be able to turn this asset into something real, but it was a fun experiment. And of course, I've got now many hours of my live streams up there. And I do hope that as I continue to record them and push them forward, I will also reflect it on a pump.com stream. Obviously, for me, I like the pre-recorded format. This is a live stream format, so it's a little bit weird. Now, moving on into real news, we had Gary Gensler on CNBC last week, and they were a little aggressive towards him. But let's be real, he did not get the ass whooping that he deserves. Now, he's on here, and the back and forth is basically, hey, Gary, do you think people feel safer? And his retort is, everyone's trading these baseless meme coins and that there's no real value here, and I would like to see tokens with revenue. Now, that all sounds really reasonable, except for the fact that any token that tried to generate revenue under his oversight was immediately sued into oblivion. So he's actually largely responsible for this trend. Now, here we have John Deaton of the US Senate talking about it. And of course, he says, look, when Gary Gensler brings up FTX, why don't you ask him about his private meetings with SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, or how he was granted so much access to regulators, including Gensler, the CFTC. Basically saying that Gensler met privately twice with Sam Bankman-Fried, who donated $72 million to the Democrats. And they should be pressing him, where are the years worth of text messages that you're legally obligated to produce that have gone missing? I think allowing Gary back into the fold and having him criticized without holding his feet to the fire is very detrimental, and it's something that should be expanded upon. So I do like to see a little bit of pushback, but damn, this really could have gone a lot deeper. And the reason I bring this up is because we still have the lingering impact of the Biden administration. And this is coming from Bill Hughes, the general counsel and head lawyer at Consensus, a longtime crypto participant. Now, he says, you think crypto taxes were hard before, get ready for a whole new level of tax hell come 2026. Starting in April, you will have to track the cost basis for your assets on a wallet basis rather than universally across all your wallets. This was announced by the IRS by issuing Revenue Procedure 2024-28 in July 2024 and went into effect of January 25. I recall hearing precisely nothing about this. Zip, nada. But hey, it was a busy time last summer and the SEC tried to kill us and presidential candidates dodging bullets and whatnot. What he goes on to say is this extremely onerous and disgusting tax obligation, which is that the taxpayer must be able to identify and maintain records sufficiently to show the total number of remaining digital asset units in each wallet held by the taxpayer. The taxpayer must be able to identify and maintain records sufficient to show the number of units of unused basis, the original cost basis of each such unit and of unused basis, and the acquisition date of the original digital asset. I mean, all of this is ridiculous considering that this is software-based money. Like, why is this obligation being pushed onto the taxpayer when the IRS could easily open up any piece of software and have this populate automatically? So this is pretty disgusting that you need to go wallet by wallet. And let's recall, there's airdrops of all sorts of bullshit assets. And how is the IRS going to respect this? If they're going to say, hey, you were airdropped an asset at X dollars, are you obligated to pay income on that, even though it's now eligible to be sold for zero, right? It's a baseless meme coin or something to that effect. I mean, can we use these things to DDoS people, to attack people by airdropping, let's say, the head of the IRS millions of dollars worth of a valueless asset to say, hey, we're pricing it at $1. Here's $1 million worth. Oh, after the airdrop, it went to zero and you can't actually cash out, but we still had it priced at $1 million when we gave it to you. This is all extremely problematic, and this is the stuff that we really want to avoid. So it is disconcerting, and it's something that we should actually get vocal about. So write to your senators, your congressmen, and let's talk about this. Let's bring it up. Now, Now, in continuing the policy conversation, because this is very relevant in the US, we have Peter von Valkenburg of CoinCenter, one of the lobbying committees, one of the think tanks around cryptocurrency. They've been here for a long time in DC, and they come out with this report. Tear down this walled garden, American values and digital identities, basically attacking AML KYC, which is great because where is all of that spam that you're getting in your cell phone, in your email, so on and so forth? Where is it all coming from? It's coming from exploited KYC AML accounts. When people grab all of your data because they're mandated by regulation, and there's nothing regarding exploits and their responsibility around that. So they get all your data, that data gets exploited. There's no compensation to the user whose data is now out there on the global web or the dark web. And this has just created honeypots that time and time again keep breaking down. Now, KYC AML is responsible for barely any positive upside. When you look at the data, it's like, 2% of illicit capital has been prevented in moving from KYC AML. So it's pretty consistently viewed as a negative. This was something that sounded really good to pass as a policy, but is absolutely disgusting. If you want to read the full report, it is pretty interesting. I highly recommend you dive in. And of course, like always, it's in my sources. Now, one thing that came up and was pretty exciting to see in my searches is this automated smart contract debugger. So this is pretty cool that they've taken an LLM and they've incorporated a lot of smart contract language, and this actually goes through and debugs. And I think it's fascinating. This allows for sort of vibe coding of the sci-fi money, of the digital money layer. And one of the problems with vibe coding using LLMs is like, how do you actually know it's secure? The LLM could make plenty of mistakes, right? It's not actually cognizant. And we want to make sure that if we're putting money behind it, it doesn't get exploited. So this debugger, pretty cool. I'm pumped to see it if that's useful for anyone. Again, in the sources, I think it's awesome. Now, last but not least, back to Plasma, trillions of dollars worth of capital flowing into this thing. They just announced Plasma One, the application for your money. And what you're looking at is a simple app that's well designed. And what we're looking at is a new financial system via a simple application. So they market as 4% cash back on their credit card structure, but you open this app, you have the USDT, the Tether stablecoin, and it allows you to access all sorts of very simple monetary applications. So while the card itself offers a 4% cash back, the application offers a variety of yield-bearing strategies depending on your risk. And they're marketing as like 10% yield for a pretty simple USDT stablecoin strategy. Now, if this isn't threatening the banks, I don't know what is. This is not the Genius Act talking about stablecoin issuers sharing yield. This is a stablecoin. And they're taking all of the smart applications that you can do with digital monies, and they're putting it in this nice, concise application. Users will feel like they're spending. It will feel very much like PayPal, like Venmo, like the digital formats of money that we already have, but it will be all backed by stablecoin rails, by blockchain rails. Now, this is going to be massive. I think it's an absolute threat to the banking infrastructure, and that is what we want to see. It's very exciting. So Plasma's goal is to usurp Tron's place as the blockchain of choice for USDT, Tether. And that is their goal. They are backed by Tether. They are going to make a beautiful app. I believe their head of application design is from PayPal or one of these big applications. I'm sorry, I don't know for sure, but they have experience in making beautiful, smooth apps. We should see something that's very nice, that's very mobile friendly, very easy to access, and it will unlock the world of blockchain-based money. So on that note, let's just exit this very fine Monday saying the future's coming, and it's coming fast. Now, the markets are doing terrible, and that's because open interest over the weekend went nuts. Open interest is leveraged positions, if you recall, and we had massive liquidations against Bitcoin longs. So as always, when I sign out, I'm going to say stay safe out there. Don't overlever. Give me a like and a sub, please. I'm begging you. It really means the world to me, and I will see you tomorrow.